Hello, hello, come on in. Welcome to the Last Chance Saloon. See what I did there? So that's worked out really well for us, hasn't it? We started off expecting to progress into the FA Cup, only to go out of it with a whimper, which any Tottenham fan will tell you was likely to happen. Not expected this time. Really thought we were gonna push on. We put all our eggs in one basket. We said, okay, got enough in this team. You know, there's enough quality. The team was right, according to Stellini. The team was right. It was ready. It was able to beat Sheffield United. Didn't. One eye on the game at the weekend against Wolves, because we're obviously concerned about putting enough effort in getting into a competition next year than we are about winning a competition this year. So now we go to Wolves. We played well, apparently. I didn't get to see all of the game. I had a dodgy stream on my phone, which wasn't particularly helpful, so I was seeing updates on Twitter. But from what I can gather from the comments and from what people have said after that, is that the game was fairly good. You know, we played fairly well, just wasn't clinical enough, and so we suffered another defeat to a bogey team. And Wolves do tend to play well against us. I remember a few games where they've turned up and had a good game, and I've said it before, I love their fans. I think their fans are brilliant. They really do support the team. Anyway, I digress. So there we are, putting our eggs into that basket. Need to win this game, keep the Champions League top 4 trophy alive. And we lose the game, we lose ground. Man United get absolutely smashed, and that would have given us an opportunity to close that gap and keep the momentum. And now Liverpool have obviously won that game by smashing Man United, and that gets them closer to us. So it puts us in a real precarious situation. Newcastle still have games in hand and so on. But aside from that, we now have one more chance of getting some kind of glory, and that's by beating Milan at home on Thursday and Wednesday to keep the Champions League competition alive. So anyone who believes that we're capable of winning the Champions League probably needs their head examined. And I know, we got there, we got to the final, but we didn't turn up. We had a poor decision against us, all the rest of it. But we were lucky we got there, things went in our favour. So it could still happen, and I get that, it could still happen when there is still an opportunity. The dream is still alive, but it's only just alive. It's kind of needing heart massage at the moment. Mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, just to keep it poodling along. Can we beat Milan at home? Yes, I think we probably can. There's a massive crowd of South Dorset Spurs going up. I'm not, I've got to work, unfortunately. I've got to travel away, so I haven't got the opportunity to go to the game. I will be watching, hopefully, in some hotel somewhere. But there's a big crowd going up of South Dorset Spurs. People are still engaged in that. They still have that hope and that belief that something's going to happen. And that's the problem with addicts, is that we're always chasing the next fix of, in this case, Tottenham, and what are they going to deliver. But people are losing faith big time, it seems, with Mr. Conte and his tactics and his absence and the lack of signing of his new contract and the uncertainty and all that. And not everybody, a lot of people calling, let's bring back Pochettino, and I've talked about that before, and it's a whole long debate, long video to talk about that. But it feels like it's growing. It feels like it's growing, the disconnect with the manager, as opposed to the disconnect with the owner and the players, who are equally to blame, in my opinion. So it's a really difficult time to be a Tottenham fan. There are people out there that will call out, we're still in the top four, just about. We're still in the Champions League, just about. There is still hope. And people like that are glass half full. And I have tried to be one of those people. But I can feel like a growing disconnect and a growing meh to the performances, and meh to actually go into the games and really getting engaged. And I've let a few of my tickets go because other stuff's been going on, whereas previously I'd have gone, no, I still need to go to my game or whatever. It's Tottenham, I want to get there. And of late, I've kind of feel a little bit disconnected with it. And ultimately, I do blame Conte in terms of his tactics. They're not working. And not just the fact that they're not working, but his inability to change anything, to leave substitutions so late, and to not put the best team out for the game that's in front of you. And I get it, it's a squad game and you've got lots of games to play, but everybody else has to contend with that. Everybody else has to do that. And I just don't think our squad is good enough and strong enough to be able to compete on all these fronts. But you've got to be going and saying, we need the best result in these competitions, because it's a one-off game. You know, the League Cup's a one-off game, the FA Cup's a one-off game until you get to the next one. Start off with your strongest team and then draw them out and rest them. Once you're ahead, if you're ahead. If you're not, then, you know, and if these players can't get up for a competition, then what's the point of it? You know, if all they're motivated by is money, and I can't believe that someone who's probably got 20, 30 million in the bank, is that switched off or switched on to just money? I get it from a club perspective. Winning the FA Cup gives the club nothing, a few million, which is nothing. They make more in a couple of games over the pizza counter and the beer counter than they do for winning the FA Cup. But we're losing sight, or the owners have lost sight of what it's about, what football's about, what the club is about. It's just a money-making scheme that just keeps going and going and going, with the lie that it's all going back into the squad, it's all going back into the club, it's all built for the future. I'm not worried about the future. I am worried about the future and the sustainability of my club going forward. But at the same time, you've got to compete. You've got to give the fans something. You don't want to end up looking over your shoulder, and instead of being 15 years since your last trophy, it's been 30 years, 40 years, 60 years. I mean, we expect too much as fans. I get it. We expect too much. We want to be top of the league. We want to win every competition and have that glory. And we expect the owners to just throw money at it left, right and centre. But when you're making the money that you're making, when you're getting the profits you're getting, and you can afford to give yourself a £500,000 a year pay rise, which is nothing in the overall scheme of things, I guess, when you're paying players millions of pounds a year. But when you can afford to do that, surely you can afford to be looking at the best way forward to win competitions for the fans, who are the lifeblood of this club. Without the fans, if there was no fans, you might still make money. But as a spectacle, we know from when the COVID thing hit, putting big sheets out and having fake fan noises and all the rest of it, there's nothing to pan to, the joy. That's what people want to see on the TV. If you just wanted to see people running around playing football without fans, then you could go anywhere for that. You could go down the park for that. Fans make the club, and we are just getting forgotten. We are getting disconnected, and the way we're being treated and thought about is so actually shameful. This game come from the streets, came from the people, and the rich people have taken it away. They've turned it into a money-making scheme for themselves, and they're leaving us behind and treating us like fools. It's so disappointing. and so annoying. And I guess I'm just rambling and talking crap about how I feel about it, rather than talking about the actual game and what we should be achieving, what we should be doing and all the rest of it. But it's just how I feel today. I've had enough. I've had enough of being taken for a ride. But as I said, and I've said loads of times before, I'm an addict. I'm an addict. I need to inject it into my veins. I need to live my football club. I don't know why. I don't know how to stop it. I can't help it. So I will be watching. I will be taking it all in. And I will celebrate if we go through. I will love if we go through. And I will be trying to get to the next game. But this is disappointing at the moment. Keep the faith. Up the Spurs.